Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morse out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Weather's changing. I think I was checking the weather this morning. I know some of you guys have snow. I heard there's like 12 inches of snow up in Michigan. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully you're not painting outside today like we are. So for us, I'm looking at the weather. I think we got some rain coming this weekend, going into next week. And I think we're going to be in the 60s next week. I'm really looking forward to that. There's nothing I enjoy more than a cold evening where I can sit out by the fire pit outside and smoke a nice cigar. That's enjoyable for me. That's relaxation at the end of the day, because what we do in construction is hard work. We're out there. It's labor intensive. Yes, it is a skilled trade. I think people look at construction as, oh, you're just a laborer. You're just a construction worker. It takes skill to do what we do. But a lot of people are concerned lately. I'm hearing all this talk about AI, and AI is taking over and it's going to take our jobs. I'm telling you right now, one trade it's not going to take is painting. Now, it does help us in our business. It helps us with our scheduling. It helps us with our blueprint takeoffs. We do utilize it in different situations, and it's making us better. It's making us quicker at what we're doing. It's making our bidding process more accurate, which is a huge, huge help. There's nothing worse than bidding a $500,000 job and finding out, oh, we missed $50,000 worth of work. That is very frustrating. So how do we look at this situation? I use ChatGPT. I've been using it now for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. It was a little interesting in the beginning. I didn't know how to deal with this, what to ask. But what I've done over time is I think I've literally replaced Google with ChatGPT. I'm using it more than I use Google. It just helps me out so much better. It's helped me out work with my workout program, with my meal prepping. I can literally put all the ingredients of what's in the fridge, put it in there. It's going to make a meal for me. It's going to tell me how to do it and what I need to do. So there's such a huge advantage to this. There was a situation a few years ago. Not a few years ago, but we had just moved in our house April, about a year and a half ago. And we bought a brand new home. It was a spec home on the subdivision. So the whole street's built out. This was one of the last houses, and we bought this house. So we kind of bought it as is, but it is still a brand new home. Well, we're in a 55 plus community. The brick walls on the side only come up to about 4 feet. Well, my neighbor on the one side had added 2 layers of bricks to the top because they'd put a swimming pool in. Not a big deal. I didn't care. I bought the house just the way it was. After living there for a few months, all of a sudden we get a letter from the HOA saying that we need to submit an application for a permit to raise this wall. I'm looking at this wall and I'm thinking, I didn't do anything to the wall. I went next door, talked to the neighbors. I go, oh no, we put in for the permit. We paid the $200. And I'm like, then why are they asking me for this? So after calling the HOA and explaining to them, hey, I'm not paying this $200. The wall was there when I built the house. I'm not doing anything. They said, well, you still have to do the application process, but we'll waive the $200. Once again, no, I'm not doing this. Let me fast forward a little bit so I can get to the end of the story here. But what happened was I ended up getting a letter from an attorney, and they were going to put a lien on my property of $2,000 for not doing this application process and doing what they wanted. So I went to ChatGPT. I typed in there everything I had. I go, I need a letter to go back to this attorney, explain I'm not paying this. This is why, everything. It wrote it up, and I'm looking at this letter. I'm thinking, this is pretty good. This is some good stuff. But I need a little something more. There's something missing. So I went back in ChatGPT and I typed up real quick. I said, hey, have there been any other cases in the Phoenix area where this has happened, where an HOA did this and it went to court and the homeowner won in my exact situation? And it came back with a reference to it. It had all the information. It rewrote the letter for me. So I copied and pasted it in an email. I sent it off. 3 days later, they dropped everything. They didn't want to mess with me. It made me look like I was a freaking attorney. It was crazy how it looked. So in doing this, it's helped me with that. It's helped me with emails. I've written emails, I've used it, but you got to be careful too. You got to take certain things out of it. You got to make it your own because it's going to look scripted every time. I can tell when somebody uses a letter or information from ChatGPT without making it their own. But you can change it. You can fix it so it does sound more like you. So In this situation, I've written letters. I've had a superintendent or general contractor I was really upset with. I was angry, and I probably shouldn't have written an email to him over the situation we were dealing with. So I put in ChatGPT. Here's my situation. I'm extremely angry over this. I need help writing this letter. I want to come across firm, but not angry and like I'm coming after the guy. It wrote it up real quick right there. I mean, within a matter of seconds, it typed it up. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, holy crap, this is wonderful. But we have to ask ourselves, is it taking away our thinking? Is it dumbing us down in a sense, if that makes sense? So my question is it dumbing us down? Is it doing all the work for us? I think it can to a certain extent, but I don't think we need to let it. You still need to do a lot of things on your own. But we're in an industry, construction. There are a lot of jobs that AI is just not going to take over. You can't get a program to go out and paint a house. You can't get a program to go frame a house or do the plumbing for a house or the electricity in a house. It's not going to work. And I've seen some videos on social media. They're showing these different things where these robots and other things are doing a job. And I saw one where they had a robot doing a painting, and it was painting on the wall of an inside of a residential. But what I was looking at was there was so much overspray, and it went up on the ceiling and it went on the floor. It doesn't have the human factor. It doesn't have the common sense factor. And even with ChatGPT that I use so much, I've put in there, I'll put something so simple like I won't even tell what day it is, but let's say today's Wednesday. I need a motivational message to send out to my entire company on a text, and we're going to do a Zoom. I need another motivational message with that to coincide with today. And he'll come back and say, okay, today is Motivation Monday. I'm like, wait a minute, it's Wednesday. How can this program be this smart and not know what day it is? That does not make sense to me. So you have to be careful. I know one of the girls in the office was doing something the other day, and it was asking questions and came back with the complete wrong information. We had an employee, we have to take child support out. He's originally from Indiana. They want the money back there, and it was a certain amount, and it said something about the rears, and one of the girls put the information in ChatGPT. It came back and said, you got to take half his paycheck. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound right. It's got to be wrong. So now we make the phone calls to Indiana to figure out this child support situation. And ChatGPT was so wrong on this. So I don't think it's going to completely take over everything. You have to know when to use it and when not to use it. You have to know when you're using it to change it to sound more like you or more human, because it's just going to script it out. And that's very difficult when you're trying to send an email to somebody and you want it to sound like you, they know you. They're going to be able, if somebody knows you well enough and you've worked with them long enough, they're going to know when you're scripting an email versus you writing it personally. So be careful of that. But as far as other situations with the AI, we're using it. We're using a blueprint program. It's called Toggle AI. We love this program. The estimators love it. It makes things so much easier. What they used to do in an hour, they can do now in 10 to 15 minutes with a takeoff. It has simplified everything. If you're one of the dinosaurs out there still doing blueprint takeoffs off of paper, you need to get with the times. Get yourself a bigger screen. We're switching to all curved screens. They're bigger screens. That way they can look at the plans on there. It just simplifies it. Imagine what we used to do years ago. As times change, how much faster we've gotten, how much technology has improved. This is going to improve it 10 times faster than it has the last 20 years to 30 years. I truly believe that. So we need to, in construction, take advantage of this. We need to take advantage of AI. We need to take advantage of these programs to help us run our businesses smarter and smoother. We now have a program that has been built by yours truly, Josh, who sits behind and handles the camera and all the recording here for this podcast. He's our CTO, and he pretty much wrote this program for our company that we literally run the company through. All our scheduling, all our estimating, guys clocking in and clocking out, everything is tracked through this program. Everything, even to the point to where if they're at the job site, they can clock in, but if they're there too early, it doesn't allow them to clock in. There's geo fences around it. How many times have you had employees out there that you don't know if they're telling you the truth of when they're on the job or when they're off the job. We, it's funny because before putting some of this in place, the older system, guys could track, they could clock in, they could be 20 miles from the job site. They might be scheduled to be there at 7 o'clock and they don't show up till 7:30, but they clocked in at 7 and they weren't even on the job site. This is just holding everything in the company accountable for every situation that we're dealing with. So I do believe that if you want to change and you're open to change, it will work. But if you fight it, if you're against it, you're going to be behind the times. Everybody else is going to pass you up in their business and what they're doing. You have to focus on growth. You have to focus on change and technology. And in construction, we say, well, what new technology is there? It's some things haven't changed for 50 years. There is no new technology, but there is. And it's a way we run the business. It's a way we perform the business. It's not the actual hands-on, but can the hands-on even be improved by AI? What if we put in there, we're painting a house, we do it this way, this is our hours, this is how we do it, and we put it in ChatGPT and it tells us, hey, well, if you do it this way, you can cut back your productivity will change from 80 hours on this job down to 75 hours on this job. That means we're saving 5 man hours on that job. Maybe that's the next step. You find ways to grow. You find ways to make it work. You can ask it anything. And like I said, it's not all going to work, but there is a lot in there that can change the growth of your business. A few other things that we utilize this for is right now we're trying to figure out the general contractors, the percentage of jobs we land with them versus what they bid, what they land. What contractors do we land more work with? Which ones are we more profitable on? The cool thing with ChatGPT is I can put all this information in there. We can track all this, and it's going to spit fire back at me exactly who my number one contractors are. And I might think it's these over here, but it could be these over here. And it's going to look at the time we got the job done, the profitability on each job. It's going to tell me which ones we're making the most money on, which ones do we want to do more work with. I want to take advantage of this. These are things that, how long would it take me to sit there and do the math and figure all this out when we can just punch in the data and let it figure it out for you? Imagine you're running your business and you've got all these customers and you work with the same people nonstop, but there's this customer you think is your best customer because you get along with them. And every time you see them, you talk about sports, you talk about the family, the kids, and what their activities are. But the reality is you're actually not making any money off of this person. And the one person that you do make the most money off of, you don't consider your best customer. You might put them in a lower end. But if I knew who this was, I would work harder for that customer. I would focus more on that, put better manpower on there, and focus on trying to land more jobs with that customer. That's what it's going to change for you. You have to adapt to this. Something simple as I had a job cost sheet. It was in an Excel spreadsheet the other day, and we use a document called AI documents, AIA, and we use that for our billing for most of our general contractors. I had one, I guess I'd used it a couple times and kept reusing it. Something happened. It wasn't working right. It wasn't taking the numbers across the way they're supposed to. So I asked ChatGPT for help. It said, drop it into me. I dropped that spreadsheet into ChatGPT. It fixed it, gave it back to me. It worked perfect after that. I don't know how to fix everything on that. There's a few things I can do. How do I add more lines? How do I subtract lines on these AIA documents if I need to add more stuff? ChatGPT has helped me with every single one of those. I don't let it do it every time. I'll ask it how to do certain things and I'll do it myself. That's where I don't want to dumb down. I want to learn how to do it at the same time. So I'm going to ask it how to do it. I'm going to try and do it myself. But other things, if I'm in a hurry, I can just drop it in, land it there, take it and run with it. So with scheduling, with everything, I mean, even AI can tell me who lives the closest to the job sites for our company. What's going to be, imagine if you've got 50 employees and they all live all across town and you've got 10 jobs going on that day, but you got guys crossing town, going to the opposite side of town and working longer hours or longer days because of their drive time. When if you had a program that would automatically spit out, hey, this guy's 3.4 miles from that job. versus this guy that's 19 miles from the job. But the guy that's 19 miles from that job is only 2 miles from another job on his side of town. It's going to change the way you run your business. We have to adapt to this. It's going to make you look so much better. It's going to make your profit margins go up. I'm seeing changes right now as we're doing this, as we're switching over to our new program, and I love it. I couldn't ask for a better situation. It's all the information is right there, even to the point where it spits me an email every single day. Before I even get to my desk in the morning, the email's there. It tells me everything that's going on, who's working where, what's happening. It tells me who's got an anniversary with us, who's got a birthday coming up this week. It gives me everything. The more information you have, the better you can run your business. The more information you have on your current business, you can increase the profits of your business. Some of us can't do that on our own. We need help with it. Now, we can pay somebody, we can ask for help, we can get an accountant, we can have someone help us with QuickBooks or whatever you're using. But this new way to do things, I'm telling you, it's going to astronomically change the profit margins of your business. You have to adapt to this. But also at the same time, like I said, be careful of it. I know it's in the news. I've heard things on the media. I've heard some bad stories out there. But it's all about how you use it and what you're using it for. Use it for the right reasons. Use it for the reasons that are going to make you money. You know, a couple things I've done on it is I've had it help me with my workout program. I've had it help me with meal prepping. I've had it help me with my stack of natural supplements and pills I take as I'm working out, making sure I'm using the right thing. And it tells me, okay, you shouldn't take this in the morning. You should take this at night. And then I'm questioning, okay, you're recommending this supplement. Where can I get it at? And all of a sudden, boom, it gives me 3 options. And they're right there. And all I have to do is click on it. It takes me right to the website, and I can purchase it, have it delivered to the house the next day. It's that simple. Technology is changing by the second. We need to change with it, or we're going to get left behind. Some of the classes I teach, I get a lot of men and women that come out of incarceration, and the phone is a new thing to them. It's a scary thing. And even last night during class, you know, I explained to them, we talked about resume writing and how to write a resume. And it's interesting because most of them have their case manager help them with their resumes while they're at the facility. And all of them use just this scripted thing. I mean, you can go online and find anything and it pops it out. You put basic information. And it's interesting for me when I see resumes, because I've seen thousands of them. And I guarantee you, out of thousands of them, 975 look the same. They're all done the same way. It's all the same information. And so after reading 3 of the people's summaries of their resume and looking at this, I said, now I want to talk about the keywords in here. There was multiple keywords in every single one of theirs that were identical. And there was nothing different. There's nothing that made them stand out. So I opened up my phone, I opened up ChatGPT, put it on speaker, and I'm using the speaking mode where it talks back and they can hear it, because ChatGPT will talk back to you if you use that feature, and it's a great feature. And I started using that, and the class was amazed. Now half of them are downloading the app. They're wanting to use it. They're wanting to make a change and improve their situation. They want to improve their resumes just by using that one feature. That's how we're going to change. You have to adapt. You have to grow. I'm really curious to what types of AI programs everybody out there is using. I've heard of all different kinds. I really like ChatGPT. That's why I push it. I talk about it. I talk about it in my classes. I know there's a few others out there. I've heard about a few others in the news. I'm curious to what you're using out there, if anybody is, and what your thoughts are about AI. Are you scared of it? Are you intimidated? Are you thinking, I'm never going to touch it, I don't want to be a part of it? Or are you embracing it? And how are you using it? How has AI changed your life? I'd really enjoy for you guys to comment and let me know. Give me some feedback on what you're doing and how it's affecting your business or your personal life, how you're using it. I know it's changed mine. I know it's changed my mom's, and she's a little bit older and out there, and you know, she's doing really well with it. She's always sending me updates on what she's doing, and it's exciting to see the pictures she's making and the different things that she's doing. So I'm curious to see what you guys are using out there. So if you get a minute, like, subscribe, and comment on what AI you're using out there. Once again, folks, thanks for joining me. Stay hungry.